Welcome back, everybody. It's another episode of The Human Side of Marketing. I'm your co-host, Chris Angel, here with your host, as always, Kurt Stockwell.
Hello, Chris. How are you?
What's up, Kurt? I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. It's the holiday season.
It's the holiday season.
Yeah.
Maybe you didn't expect me to bust out in song.
Wow, that was pretty good. It's
what made me think of, I was filling in a sentence.
Yeah, that's right.
So, anyway.
It made you think about what comes to mind when I say the holiday season. That comes
that
to
song.
mind.
That's
kind of what we're talking about today.
And whoop-de-doo.
And people are turning their volumes down.
Don't go away. Stick around. This is a good episode.
We better move on.
Well, what are we talking about?
We're talking
Let's move
about
on to what?
Yeah, we're talking about, if you clicked on this episode from the title says, your business needs a red trucker hat.
Mm-hmm. Very
so
curious.
obviously that was very clickbaity. And if you're clicking on this, you're probably thinking, what is this going to be about? This is going to be about your tagline. So we're talking about your tagline today.
Good. The tagline. Is that still around? Is that still important even? Taglines?
I think taglines are still important. Yeah. Because it's something that you can very quickly get out there in a short amount of space. So if you're thinking about like the upper left corner of your website, it's got your logo on it and a brief little tagline that kind of describes what you do.
Yeah.
And also you can put it on your business card. But when somebody says the name of your business, and that tagline can roll off their tongue, you are doing a good job of making yourself memorable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So the red trucker hat, are you curious to know why we're talking about a red trucker hat today, Chris?
Yeah. What does that have to do with one-liners?
Well, it's the political season seems to never end, right? And currently we are, enthralled in more political stuff, and elections are right around the corner. So thinking back to the last election, whether you're happy with who won or whether you're not, it's probably pretty safe to say that out of all of the candidates that came from the Republican side and then eventually Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump battling it out at the end, out of all the candidates, I bet you the only tagline or the only slogan that you can remember from that entire election was what?
Do you want me to say? Make America great.
Make America great again. Yeah, make America great again. So what did Donald Trump do in that election? He came up with a slogan that was memorable, right? Whether you remember it for is a good thing or a bad thing, that's kind of up to your discretion. But all the way through the election, Donald Trump's message was the same. And his message was, I'm here because your America needs to be great again. And his message was very clear to the voters that you deserve better. And it's the message that everybody could repeat, you know? And so it just goes down to the fact that if you're not memorable, or if your message is not memorable, then people will fill in the blanks for you as to what they think your message is. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's nice to put your own intention into people's minds instead of whatever they come up with.
Yeah. And also that slogan or that tagline or whatever you want to say was about the voter. One thing that, and then I'm not trying to get on sides of the political debate here, but if you think back about Hillary Clinton's campaign, her slogan was, I'm with her. So she put herself as the hero of that slogan or tagline. Donald Trump made it about the voter. So whether he won because of that or not, I don't know, but there's something to be said about the fact that 4 years later, when I say, what's on the red trucker hat, people go, make America great again. They still remember. So how do we make our businesses memorable through a great tagline?
Yeah. That's the question.
That's the question.
You say something like make America great again versus I'm with her. And I can totally see the difference in those two. It seems so simple, so clear. But when I go to think about my own business and my own tagline or slogan, I'm like, I don't know. How do I do that?
Yeah, exactly.
It seems so easy when Kurt says it, but I have a hard time doing it for myself.
Yeah. So here's what we know. The best products and services don't win. The ones that are communicated the clearest will win. That's why I'm constantly, this whole show is about how to create messaging that's clear. That when you've thought about the person on the other end. Really, that's what the whole human side of marketing is all about.
Right.
Because your competitor can have an inferior product than you, but if they have a clear message, they'll win every single time.
Wow.
So I wanted to talk about some taglines that we all know.
Okay.
And why they're great.
Yeah.
Okay. So
let's do it.
I'm just going to say the first part of the tagline and you see if you can fill in the blank.
Okay.
All right.
Yep.
Nationwide is
on your side.
Okay. So what do you think about when you hear nationwide is on your side? What does that make you think?
They've got my back. They're going to watch out for me.
Yeah. And I think that's exactly what they would want. They want that tagline was thought through because they want people to know that Nationwide has your back, and it's very easily printable. It's very easily stuck in up in a logo. It's something that's clear and understandable.
I like it too because if I think about the insurance industry, I don't, and then you make a claim, which I'm actually going through right now. It's kind of like, do you really want to help me here? Or do I just pay you insurance money so you can take my money, but not help me when I need you?
Right.
Like I think that's a common complaint or frustration people have with insurance companies if they've ever had to use an insurance company.
Right.
And so I just like the added layer of value in that tagline because it's like, oh, I want somebody on my side.
Right. And might be somebody listening who's used Nationwide. They're like, yeah, they do have my back. Or, maybe had a bad experience. But however, we all remember the tagline, Nationwide is on your side. Okay. Let's talk about another one.
Yep.
This is from Apple. Think
different.
Think different. Now, this is something that, we talk about Steve Jobs a lot because he was so good at marketing because he made it all about the end user. So when Apple puts their products out there and they challenge you to think different, what does that do for you?
It channels my inner rebel. It makes me want to like say what I want to say instead of hiding and not saying things.
Yeah. It makes you want to buy their product because you are a unique individual. Right. And that's really what Steve Jobs did back in the 80s. The Think Different slogan was very big, when they first came out with their product in the 80s. And back then it was, IBM was the big, what do they call it? The big blue monster, the big blue machine, whatever it was. And so he used that to challenge the status quo. That's really what Apple's usually, what Apple's been all about.
Right.
Okay. Here's another one. You ready?
Yep.
When you care enough to send
the very best.
Okay. Hallmark.
I actually don't know who that's for. Who's that for?
Hallmark.
I knew the tagline, but I didn't know who it was for.
Yeah. Okay. So Hallmark. So when you see Hallmark's branding and you see when you care enough to send the very best, that's kind of telling the user or the buyer, like you're kind of the hero for sending this card or sending this gift or whatever. And you can know that you're sending the very best to the person that you love.
Right.
So they made it about the user.
Yeah.
Right. So often we'll see kind of the opposite of this when we see people who haven't really thought through their tagline. Like you see things like XYZ company since 1982.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, well, what does that do for me? That does nothing for me.
Right.
That puts you into the hero role of the fact that you've been around a long time.
Yeah.
So when I think about, I guess I would let me ask you, do you feel like the competitive advantage of longevity in an industry is still a positive thing that people can hang their hat on and in their marketing message?
I think sometimes it actually backfires. I think of I think outdated, unmotivated, like coasting on, success from years ago.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter to me. How long you've been in business to me doesn't matter.
Right.
As a consumer.
You think about the devices that we use all day long, every day.
Right.
Most of those businesses or most of the things that we trust these days, like, Google or Amazon, or, we use them all day long and it's very much a part of our lives. They haven't really been around all that long. Yeah.
It's interesting to think about. Like Amazon is huge and it's been around for 20 years. Instead of the internet.
To the degree that we use them now has been around, I would say probably like maybe 12 years to the degree that we engage with them now.
Yeah, totally.
So you can't hang your hat on the fact that you've been around forever. You've got to think about this tagline. So if your company does have the tagline of leading the industry since 1982,
right.
You need to rethink that. Make it about your customer. What can you do to make this tagline about what you do for your customer? Another thing you'll see is like, I'm just kind of making this up, but like first in like fill in the blank, like first in real estate or like,
oh, sure. First in customer service.
First in customer service. Yeah. But like, you and everybody else.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Think a little bit different about that.
The one in real estate that drives me crazy is for all your real estate needs. It's like every agent got the same tagline, and we're like, oh, let's do that for all your real estate needs. And you're like,
what does that mean?
That doesn't mean anything. Like, what?
Yeah.
I don't understand. Anyway.
Yeah. I mean, you think about how could you be different in your own tagline? Like, so a lot of folks in real estate are kind of like a solopreneur, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so this is just off the top of my head. What if you had a tagline like an agent who listens?
Right.
Yeah. Think something like that, so totally. Think about what does your user want? What does your customer want? Mm-hmm. So we were working with a flooring company in town, and a tagline that we were kind of bouncing around with them was a flooring company that treats you like family.
Right.
And another, so let's say you're a lawn care company. What do you really want in a lawn care company? You want to not have to worry about your yard, right?
Yeah.
You want to come home. So let's think about this person who's hiring you to take care of their lawn. So what if you came up with something like, we care for your lawn so you don't have to, something like that.
Yeah. I like it. What about give me something for websites. I know you got,
well, this is one that we've used for a lot of years is worry-free websites.
Oh yeah.
So that's just a simple little tagline that we've used for a lot of years, worry-free websites, with the story brand thing. Where I often will say, clarify your message so your customers will listen, which is a story brand tagline. But
right,
yeah,
I like that. Do you actually have workshops that you do around creating one-liners? Like you can call this a one-liner almost.
Yeah. So this is a little bit different than a one-liner, but it's really kind of the same exercise.
Okay.
Yeah. So we have workshops that we do, and if you go to onelinerworkshop.com, you can learn more about workshops that are coming up in the Spokane area.
Oh, nice.
And again, the exercise going through the one-liner is very similar to the exercise you would need to go through this tagline kind of exercise.
Right. Is it one-liner workshop singular?
Onelinerworkshop.com.
And then is it a number one or a one?
O-N-E.
Yeah. O-N-E.
Yeah.
Onelinerworkshop.com. I like it.
Yeah. And then we also, if you go to clarify your marketing, which I say often on the podcast, the whole clarify your marketing concept, and you can go to clarifyyourmarketing.com to schedule a time with me. But really what we're doing there is we're going through things like a tagline. Mm-hmm. How can we think differently about what you do in a way that's clear to your customer? And that goes to all aspects, your tagline, your website, your one-liner, elevator pitch, your kind of summary paragraph, sales letters, email campaigns, all understanding that we need to come from the aspect of our customer. How does our customer understand what problem we solve for them?
If you take me out into the possibility of it all, like let's say that we come to one of your workshops, or we work with you in a one-on-one call, like we get our one-liner and or our slogan dialed in, like what's possible? What opens up for us on the other side of having that?
I think that when we work with companies, the thing that I always hear from them is it's now given me a different way of thinking about our messaging. So when we look at the aspect of clarifying your marketing messaging or your sales message, whatever you want to say, from the aspect of what problem do you solve for your customer, then it's an exercise in thinking from your customer's perspective, which often businesses are like, oh yeah, we think from our customer's perspective. But when I start challenging them, like, well, what problem do you solve? Well, we make widgets. Well, what does that widget do? That widget, stabilizes the, the axle in your car. Like, okay, well, what problems does that solve for me?
Right.
It makes your car more stable. Well, what does stability mean? Safety. So you help people stay safe in their vehicles.
Right.
Yeah, I guess we do.
Yeah.
And so we
Right.
go through an exercise like that with the businesses that we work with to go, how can we boil this down to the thing that you're really doing for your customer? And so that's why, the URL clarifymymarketing.com is the URL that we chose to get people to connect with us, because that's really what it's all about. It's clarifying your marketing. So like I said, clarify your message so your customers will listen.
I like it. I think too, it would make you more referable. If somebody didn't know how to describe everything that you do, but they remember your tagline, you'd be like, oh, well, this is, Kurt, he at Well Dressed Flawless, they make worry-free websites.
Yeah.
Bam, that easy. Super, super referable. I love that.
That's the
Good
goal.
stuff, Kurt. Good stuff. So one more time, if people want to reach out to you and work with you guys on their websites and or their marketing, how do people connect with you?
Yeah, you can go to welldressedwalrus.com. If you're interested in the one-liner, you can go to the one-liner workshop, or clarifymymarketing.com.
Nice. All sorts of ways to get you. Good stuff today, Kurt. I'll see you next time with my red trucker hat. Until then, or not.
Yeah, right. Not trying to be political, just trying to make a point.
That's right. Awesome. I'll see you with my one-liner next time. Thanks, Kurt.
All right. Hey, thanks, Chris.
Yeah.